Okay, we're back with Pro-Am Brewing with Greg and Patrick, although you haven't seen a lot of Greg, a lot of Patrick. But in fairness, it was his rig, and so we're just going to go ahead and talk about the racking process. We've got the beer. It's been sitting in cold crush for darn near 2 weeks, longer than it needed to, but, you know, Pro-Am. So I put a little bit of dry hopping in there when it was still at about 1020, 1025.
You put it in Crossin, right? It was still active.
It was. And let that sit. About an ounce or so of, what was it? Was it Columbus? It was Columbus. No, we used Columbus.
Oh, yeah.
So put that in, let that sit. And today we're going to rack it into the keg and we're going to burn it. We've made I put together a mix of habanero peppers and vodka. Let that steep for, well, again, about 2 weeks. Not quite that long, 10 days maybe. And we're going to add that to the beer, and that will make it spicy hot. But first, we're going to go ahead and try to taste it. So let's get a final reading, and let's see how it tastes. Although I don't have any glasses for us. So I'm going to go take care of that.
This guy.
Look at that. For those of you, who maybe you're new, most people who brew know all that, but spray bottle with Star Sands is your friend. It's quick and easy. Over there, you've got the, look at that, that's the Bacon and Beer Fest cup. And let's get a reading first. Yeah. Now, this is kind of cool, but it's this little tiny, tiny mason jar, right? So they were kind of going for like that redneck kind of look, except when it's a super tiny mason jar like that, instead of being like redneck chic, it's really just redneck. All right, so we're taking our final gravity reading. Last time I checked it, it was 1010-ish.
That would be enough.
Not quite.
Stuck there, huh?
That is low. Gravity is
some low gravity.
Oh, it is floating a tiny bit.
It is floating.
All right, so we'll let that sit for a minute and we'll taste it. Sorry, man, we're drinking some of your beer. We might as well have a taste. Oh, we could use that. All right, we'll save our beer. We'll just use that. Fine. No, I can't focus on it because there's too much stuff in the background. It's up to you. It's up to you. Patrick, using the skills acquired through years of guerrilla brewing at Muddy Creek.
We're sitting at like 10-12.
10-12?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I thought it was 10-10. I felt strong about it, but...
give her a look-see. I think it's cold, so it's probably sitting a little...
I think you're about right.
It'll actually probably be about 10-10 because it's cold. It has a different... I always read colder, or I let it over.
All right.
When we were at the brewery, I always let it warm up before I took a reading.
So, ABV calculation, it started out at 64, 65, right? I'm pretty sure. So, do you have your phone with you? Can you run that calculation real quick? Normally, Patrick could have that figure in his head.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, actually, here. Just look here.
Oh, look.
1010. We started out 1065 or 1012. We got about 6.9, so 7%.
All right. That ought to make Amanda's wedding party. Woo! Amanda got married!
You have the crying cousin in the corner that's always been a bridesmaid and never a bride.
Like, why is the beer so hot? All right, let's go and taste it.
Okay.
Now, this is the pre-burn version. And I met my weight goal, so I can actually drink beer now.
Look at you.
Yeah. Oh, it smells good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it still smells
It
good.
smells real good.
So we put some Amarillo in there, and go ahead. We already talked about it, but go ahead once again for the people who just catching this for the first time. We use Columbus and Amarillo. Go. Uh-oh.
No, it's good. It's just gonna take me a second to. There's some weird fruity jive going on to
It
it.
does. It has a very. It does. There's a very pineapple-y kind of grapefruity kind of thing going.
It'll be good, bright, and with some heat to it for sure.
Yeah. It's a nice drinkable beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's well, you know what it is. Before it was just a little boozier. You know,
Right.
it definitely doesn't come across boozy.
No, for
I mean-
7% too. It's surprising.
I get a little bit of that alcohol in the back of my throat. I mean, a little bit, but it's not boozy.
No.
It smells good.
Mm-hmm. It's good and hop forward, but not grassy. I hate the thiol burn.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of the new the hazies and stuff. They just dump so much hop into it that it just it brings out a weird grassy thiol taste that I'm just not a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
But this is good. And this is meant to be a West Coast style, so it has some good brightness to it.
Yep.
It's not very heavy.
Okay. So we're going to set up and we're going to do the racking, and we'll talk about how we're doing that. In this case, we're kind of doing some simple racking today. We're on a bit of a time constraint, so we got to get this thing packaged and carbed and ready to go. Amanda's getting married sometime next week, and she's leaving town, taking her beer and going home.
As you do at the end of the night.
Closing time. Last call for alcohol.
Last call for go beers.
Yeah. I know who I want to take me home.
Wait, who do you want to take you home?
Tina.
One.
Definitely Tina.
Definitely Tina.
Because then if I didn't have Tina take me home, then I'd have to have Tina come get me to take me home. And that would be awkward. So I far and away prefer editing out this entire part.
I just meant like if you had to get a drunken ride home from somebody at the brewery, nothing like take me home to your house. Like
Oh,
drop
just take
off
me
at the
home.
house,
Oh, like
yeah.
an actual. Who's my DD of choice?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great question. Who is my designated driver of Jason Hands?
Jason Hands. Good choice.
At that point, nothing can be my fault.
Wow. Is this still full?
Yes. Yes. All right, so we're going to take a break. We're going to empty the Star Sand out of the keg, and then we'll come back and do the transfer. Okay, so we're using a Sankey keg, and what we have is we have a tap, and we've bored out all the guts in it, so it's a completely hollow, clear tap, just straight through. And, of course, when you put the keg upside down, it'll just automatically drain out. Patrick was telling me the super secret thing he used at the brewery when he had to do this. He used a couple of cinder blocks. But me, I've got a plastic lawn chair that it'll just lean on, so solving problems you didn't know you had. Just like that.
Just like that.
And what do we say? Pro-Am. All right, we're doing a little gravity feed here into the keg. You see, we've just got a simple tube that's going straight down into the old keggeroonie.
This is the same gutted Sankey we used for getting the sanitizer out of the keg. So.
Right. All right, so what are we doing wrong that we wouldn't do again?
Well, first of all, this guy here will foam a little. I think that's sandy though.
That is, I'm sure.
But other than vinyl tubing, I usually use silicone tubing only for this. But again, nobody has silicone tubing in Butte, Montana, for whatever reason. So I had to order it. It's on back order.
I couldn't find it in Bozeman.
Yeah.
I went to Bozeman, Home Depot. They didn't have it.
I checked all around in Helena. I called everywhere.
Well, there's a lot of places that say this is silicone tubing, but it's not.
And I had the guy, I was like, go tell me. I asked him, I was like, what's the temperature rating of it? And he goes back, he's like, oh, actually, it's not silicone. It's, was it PVC or was it, it wasn't Kevlar, it was Teflon. And I was like, I don't want Teflon. It's expensive, too. Teflon's extremely expensive.
Yeah, in this case, normally the temperatures, it wouldn't be an issue with the vinyl tubing. But if you run high temp through it, you can leach. And so that's why you don't necessarily want to use that kind of tubing. You can. I mean, it's one of those purist questions,
Yeah.
Um,
and just like, to me, it's the alcohol of it. So some say that vinyl's safe to high-grade alcohol. I don't know what the threshold of what vinyl can take for alcohol, but I know it cracks under high amounts of alcohol.
If it's like blonde vinyl, it'd probably take 2 or 3 shots.
But yeah, I mean, it can crack your tubing and strip it. So silicone's just the easiest way to go when it comes to final product. You can use vinyl for everything up to like a 10% beer, but anything above that, probably don't want to.
So you noticed we had some reactions when we tried the beer, and we were kind of confused. We were sort of figuring out, well, that's not exactly what I was expecting. And we finished the beer, and it occurred to us exactly what was going on. And you want to enlighten them as to what we discovered?
You mean the grapefruit?
Yeah.
So when I was tasting it, it was almost like I wanted it to be sweet, but it wasn't sweet. It's really it's low gravity, so it doesn't have a whole lot of residual sweetness, but it actually has so much of that grapefruit flavor in it that I think my brain is trying to connect it with grapefruit, and therefore giving it a sweetness that's almost not there. So I'm confused on it. It's not that the beer's not good, because it is. It's very good and it tastes very good, but it's just not what I've experienced before with that hop in particular.
Well, and the Amarillo does have grapefruit notes, but I mean, they really came through. And that's the thing is, when I first tasted it, I had a different expectation.
Yeah.
And the second time,
a little more pine, I think, too, on the back end, because we did use Columbus.
Yeah.
So.
But it just and it's actually very good. It's just you're getting a mouthful. It's like having grapefruit in the morning for breakfast. And it's not boozy. For a 7% beer, you'd never know it. You might know it after.
And the kind of citrus going on with the habanero.
Yeah. You might know it after 3 pints.
Yeah.
You might know it then, but while you're drinking it, it doesn't seem like a 7%. And as Patrick said, our experience is that the habanero really blends nicely with citrus and tropical fruit. Citrus particularly. It just really dovetails right in. So it's going to be a great flavored beer with the heat on it. And the reason we like habaneros is because there's no real vegetal flavor. It's just...
The problem with when I go to a lot of breweries and I have a pepper beer, it's normally jalapeno.
Yep.
And that kills me because I don't like to. It's like chewing on a jalapeno, and it's just not a good experience for me. Some people like it. Some people really dig it.
Just got that vegetal kind of.
Yeah. I think with the heat, this blending more with the citrus, it doesn't give that vegetal taste. It makes for a more pleasant heat beer. So.